Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear brothers and sisters, today I wanted to look at one of the aspects of understanding the mindset of atheism. Atheism is an ideology which denies the existence of God. In short, it says there is no God. Contrary to the ideology or the concept of theism, which is to believe there is a God or there is a divine creator. Now, atheists generally tend to claim that there is no God, hence the humans have or should have the absolute freedom. The point number one I just want to make clear is absolute freedom does not exist in this world. Nobody, no human, not just the layman on the street, but even the prime minister or the king of a country does not have so-called absolute freedom. We are all governed, regulated, dictated by laws, rules, regulations, constitution, pressure, impact, consequence of the society that we live in. We all have to follow certain rules with or without our will. So absolute freedom is simply a fantasy. Maybe if somebody truly wanted to understand who had absolute freedom, then from the religious perspective I would say it was Shaitan, the devil, who received the highest level of absolute freedom for as long as this world exists, until the day of judgment. Let us now see what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the mindset of atheism. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Furqan, Surah number 25, ayah number 43, as well as in Surah Al-Jasiyah, Surah number 45, ayah number 23. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. Meaning, have you seen that person who takes his own desires as his God, as his Lord, as his Ilah? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing is, there are people in the world who would take their own selfish desires as their God, who would take their own freedom to be their guide. They will take their own desires to be their God. They will take their own lust, their own whims to be their God. Now, I want to raise this aspect, which is atheist ideology has severe consequences for human race. If atheists believe that humans and human intellect should have absolute freedom, then what exactly is a criminal mindset? Mind you, I'm not saying atheist people or the people who believe in atheism are bad people. No, definitely not. But what I'm saying is atheist ideology leads to certain aspects which may make a person more criminal than usual. If a person believes what he decides is good and bad, what he thinks is good and bad, he has the only opinion and the right to choose the correct and the incorrect thing, then every murderer, terrorist, thief, domestic violence perpetrator, pedophile, they all believe what they're doing is right. So if you give people the freedom to choose what is right and wrong by themselves, absolutely by their own mindset, by their own desires and whims and lusts, then they may choose aspects which will harm and hurt the human society. I know people might say, well, there are many theists, such as Christians, Muslims and Jews, who also commit wrong things and do crime. Well, I would say to that, an atheist does good due to the natural programming done by the Creator in that person, while theist does wrong due to the atheistic character developed while he or she is in this world. I would conclude from the statement, a gem, that is Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, he said in his book Majmu' al-Fatawa, he said, the angels have been given the intellect with no desires, and the animals have been given the desire with no intellect, whereas humans have been given both the desire and the intellect. So the one whose intellect, the one whose desire are directed, are regulated by his intellect, is the one who is better than angels, while the one whose desires direct or regulate his intent, his intellect, then such person is worse than animals. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.